Greetings, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg, and today I'm going to be going through some new Christian books I've gotten over the last few months from one of the many. I buy lots of theology books and read when I can, when I find the time, which I need to make more time for, actually. But I've been feeling that call upon my reading life to really dive back into scripture and commentaries and books that kind of just make me think in a more spiritual way. And so I know a lot of you out there love my theology book hauls. So this is what that is, but it's just for InterVarsity Press. Plus, we have haven't done this in a while. I've got a channel shout out that I want to do in a little bit. Please stick around for this because if you are a fan of Christian theology, commentaries, any type of book that purports to analyze and study the Christian scriptures and the Christian faith, this channel will be of interest to you. Also, if you love really long, in-depth bookshelf tours, do I have a channel for you? But that is coming up later, so I want you to hang around. Okay, so yeah, it's been a while since I've done an InterVarsity Press showcase to show you some of the newest books that have appealed to me, and I want to thank the publisher and the publicist, Krista, who has just hooked me up in so many ways, and I've just been enriched by so many of these books that I've seen over the last few years. So this won't be a super long video, but I do want to say that I've got another video from different publishers, Christian publishers that I'll be making soon, just with a wild variety, not just on theology, but philosophy, books that kind of talk about the current state of affairs. So, but they kind of fall under the umbrella of Christian books. So that'll be another video. Otherwise, this video would be an hour and a half long if I combined this little stack with the stack that I have down here, which is a wild variety, like I said. So stay tuned. And so you theology fans out there who have been waiting patiently for me to make another video, you will be richly rewarded. So anyway, let's start off with some of the IVP titles from this. This will probably be from late last year. These were from last year. So, but I wanted to show you the ones I'm really excited about. I got a second edition. I didn't know they were making a second edition of this book, but it's under the academic category. But this is The Mission of God by Christopher J.H. Wright, Unlocking the Bible's Grand Narrative. So it's already into a second edition. Let me give you a little rundown on what this provides. Most Christians would agree that the Bible provides a basis for mission, but Christopher Wright boldly maintains that there is a missional basis for the Bible itself. The entire Bible is generated by and is all about God's mission. In order to understand Scripture, we need a missional hermeneutic, an interpretive perspective in sync with the beating heart of its great mission. In this revised edition of The Mission of God, Wright extends his classic discussion to consider the ways that the conversation on missional hermeneutics has developed since its original publication. With fully updated citations, additional chapters focused on gospel-centered holistic mission, and on the issue of election and supersessionism. This new edition addresses the questions, criticisms, and insights that have emerged during the intervening 2 decades. God's mission is to reclaim the world, including the created order, and God's people have a designated role to play. The mission of God will benefit both scholar and pastor in their understanding of how the Bible shapes the story and purpose of God's people. Just a personal note, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a pastor. I'm just a normal everyday person who is a bibliophile, who's also a Christian, and who also I want to keep expanding my mind. Sometimes I read above my level. And that's not to say that I understand everything above my level. I often do not, but I'm always challenging myself with difficult books. So, I'm not saying that this one is difficult at all, but just in case you're new here, or if you've ever wondered, uh, like, wow, that Peg, she really she's got a lot of Christian books. She must be like, a Bible scholar. I'm not. I'm just a curious person, a curious Jesus follower, uh, who wants to who really just has a love of knowledge and of learning. So I hope that makes it more stuff like this. I hope that my personal testimony and witness would encourage you to kind of just also step out of your comfort zone. Whether you want to check this out from the library or whatnot, but just kind of peruse through it and see even if it's one or two things that you glean from this book. It all goes into the mind. It all goes into the soup, baby. So anyway, really happy to have this revised edition. And because I don't really even think I had the first one. I'm not sure when the first one came out. So yeah, I'm going to be adding this to my Christian book collection and kind of dipping in here and there. It's not something I'm going to read cover to cover nonstop, but I'm going to seek out certain chapters in my own, Bible studies and stuff, and just see how this would support the things I'm studying at the time. Anyway, so this came out last year. Speaking of Bible studies, I was really excited to get this one. I requested it, and IVP was kind enough to send me. This is a 6-week Bible study experience that I want to do. It's just going to be for myself. But what a beautiful book. And if you love Bible studies and you're looking for a new book of the Bible to study, consider this. This is from IVP Bible Studies. And this is on the book of Ruth, which I haven't really studied in detail. I know the story. We've got Redeemer, God's Loving Kindness in the book of Ruth by Darina Lazo Gilmore Young. This is a new series, and so it will have this type of look. You can see it has like a workbook type of look. I'm going to put it on this side because the light keeps changing. But yeah, and then look how richly illustrated. And with the questions and stuff like that. And so I was like, let me check out this new series. And if I like this, I might even tell my sister about it. We often go to church together. And maybe this is something we can do together. We used to go to Bible study in the evenings at the Lutheran church before it went through a whole 2 to 3 years of just churning, and they lost their pastor, and then they were calling for another pastor. It took forever. We had 2 interim pastors that came in for a year each, and it's like, are we ever going to get a permanent pastor here? And they finally did. We have a new pastor. He seems like a very nice man. But they got rid of the Thursday night Bible study, which was the only time that I could do it. Otherwise, it's like morning Bible studies. It's like, hello, I have a job. I can't be doing 9 a.m. Wednesday Bible studies, But I enjoyed being with another group of people and us going around and reading verses and then engaging with the questions and reading our answers and raising questions with the pastor at the end. I loved it, and I miss it. But if I have to just create my own Bible study group, I guess I will. But so yeah, I'm excited to see what other books they'll cover in this series. So this is Redeemer, looking at a 6-week Bible study experience with the book of Ruth. All right. Let's see, what else do we have here that's kind of interesting? And some of these are like Christian living, so they're not all hardcore theology, but all right, let's hit this one next. And the rest of these are not big chunksters, so don't be intimidated. These are pretty easy to do. I thought this might be a fun read. As I've talked in the past about in different videos, my faith journey and my faith roots. It's like my mom was Catholic, and she married my dad, who was Lutheran, and at the time when she married him, you couldn't marry outside the faith. It's so crazy to me. Catholics had to marry Catholics. So they excommunicated my mom because she married a Lutheran. So either way, let me go ahead and get rid of that so you're not looking at my name the whole time. Thank you. So my dad was like, you know what? The girls are going to be baptized into the Lutheran faith. And that's just how it was. Now, I'm not confirmed in the Lutheran faith, but that was my baptism. But anyway, but I have really warm and loving feelings for Catholic people who follow that faith, without getting into any the theological stuff. But, it's important for me to know why, it was my father's decision to to baptize my sister and myself into the Lutheran church. But as an adult, I keep finding myself going back to the Lutheran. I did try to go to a Presbyterian church for a little while. I actually joined that church. But then I realized later on, I'm like, I don't think I don't agree with this predestination stuff. And when I asked the Presbyterian pastor, I was just like, I have some reservations about the predestination stuff. And he goes, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is your denomination. This is your faith. You're supposed to subscribe to this. And you're just like, it doesn't really mean anything. I'm like, of course it does. I mean, like hundreds and hundreds of years of theology that built up the Presbyterian faith, and predestination is one of them. The whole, didn't that spring from Calvinism, right? And anyway, so I just kind of left that church, and lo and behold, I found my way back to Lutheranism. But what I'm trying to say is, before I show this book, is sometimes it's good to know why you are, like, say, a Protestant, or why you're a Catholic. So I found this book, and I really can't wait to read it. Why I Am Protestant, by Beth Felker Jones. It's a very slim little guy here, but I thought this might be fun to read. So I'll give you a rundown here. The Protestant tradition is beautiful. Its ecclesiology has helped it to bear spiritual fruit in diverse global contexts, and its emphasis on personal devotion and intimacy with God and Scripture has made faith come alive for countless Christians throughout the centuries. It is also messy. Protestantism's avoidance of absolute authority in any ecclesial office or hierarchical body comes with challenges for biblical interpretation in Christian faith and practice. These tensions have led some to charge the tradition with being a seedbed for individualism and fragmentation, which is true. That has been that accusation has been thrown at Protestantism, for sure. Beth Jones takes these critiques head on and offers winsome and theologically grounded reflections on why she finds joy and spiritual nourishment in her tradition, and why Protestantism is particularly well-suited to addressing many problems of faith in the modern world. Why I Am Protestant is a love letter to her spiritual home, which she celebrates in all its grandeur and brokenness. Okay, so this is part of a series, I guess. It's called the Ecumenical Dialogue series, which makes sense, which seeks to foster engaging conversations across theological differences. In each volume, contributors explore what it means to be Christian, what it means to identify with a specific tradition within Christianity, such as Protestant, Roman Catholic, and Eastern Orthodox. So, I might check out the other two in the series as well to see what, my other brothers and sisters are saying about their tradition. Anyway, and it challenges and benefits our traditions and how we can create unity across historically tense divisions. Fantastic. So Why I Am Protestant, part of the Ecumenical Dialogue series. Excited to kind of just tap into that and see how I feel about it. Then we're going to kind of skip back to like studying certain books of the Bible. This has always been one of my, I have a lot of favorite books in the New Testament, outside of the Gospels. But one of the books that I've always enjoyed has been Hebrews. I don't know what to say about it. I love what Paul says in Hebrews. So then I found this book, and IVP sent it to me. Life in a Lifeless World, Encountering Jesus in the Book of Hebrews. Another slim little edition here. Oh, and this is by Michael Kibbe. So yeah, I'm thinking about maybe skipping over and doing another Bible read of Hebrews and then reading this in conjunction with it. As it says here, the book of Hebrews can be intimidating. With its complex allusions to the Old Testament and cryptic imagery, many Christians don't know how to read this curious epistle, much less apply it in any practical fashion for today. But the first readers of Hebrews knew what it was to live in a world that was broken, dying, and unable to sustain life as it was designed to do. Just as they battled to persevere in their faith amid the temptation to doubt, we also face similar challenges in our own lives. What does it look like to receive the life of Jesus and be conduits of that life to others and to the world around us? Biblical scholar Michael Kibbe invites us to see through the complexity of Hebrews to find encouragement and challenge for faithful perseverance in difficult times. And this is why I want to read it. Life in a lifeless world shows that the book of Hebrews answers these questions about living in a world that cannot sustain us by inviting us to follow Jesus' own path, his path to death and his path to life. This accessible treatment of this complex epistle will not only demystify the book of Hebrews for God's people, but will offer hope for living in a world where we are out of place. Amen. I never found Hebrews to be complicated or intimidating. I found that it really spoke to me. And maybe because, I'd done so many Bible studies through my church before they stopped doing evening Bible study classes. But I've done, 40 or 50 Bible studies through my church. And I believe Hebrews was one of them. I need to go back to see. I've saved all my workbooks, my Lifelight guides and stuff. But I've always liked Hebrews. So this will be a nice companion book to read along with when I'm going through my Bible study. Yeah, Jesus, our priest. You do have to understand or have read large portions of the Old Testament to get Hebrews. So that part I get, where it could be complicated or intimidating for folks. But in my Bible study, we did Old Testament studies. We did New Testament themed Bible studies. So we studied enough of the Old Testament that Hebrews made sense to me. So anyway, so here's another fantastic title from IVP. And this is another slim little volume. This is called At the Feet of Jesus, A Guide to Encountering Christ in the Gospels by Bruce and Carolyn Hindmarsh. Really skinny book. It says here, encounter Jesus in prayer with Mary of Bethany. All right, let me see if I can read this here. The type is very small. You are in the presence of Jesus right now, and he loves you as he loved Mary, her sister Martha, and her brother Lazarus. Like them, we can open our home to him. Like them, we can be befriended by him. This short book is both a guide to a prayerful reading of Scripture and an invitation to join one of Jesus's closest friends as she sits at Jesus's feet in faith, falls at Jesus's feet in hope, and anoints Jesus's feet in love. The exercises in this book, At the Feet of Jesus, will help you look afresh at the Lord, draw near to him, and encounter him personally. He is inviting you to choose what is better with Mary of Bethany, which is always a great story about Mary and Martha. I love this. This is going to have applications like respond, review. This is definitely something that I can use and do some homework on. Second meditation. So I'm excited. This is going to really, be a blessing. All right, and then let's get into some awesome stuff. This guy is a very wow. He's got some great titles. He's written, and I've got two of his other books, From Plato to Christ, and From Achilles to Christ. This is Louis Marcos. He has written some outstanding stuff, and this is his latest book, which I am really keen on because it brings in. I'm not well read in philosophy, right? I know some of the basics. So this is going to help me to see how philosophy and Christianity complement each other in ways. Anyway, so this is Louis Marcos's most recent book, From Aristotle to Christ, How Aristotelian Thought Clarified the Christian Faith. I think that's a great cover too. I just love that cover. Let me go ahead and read what we have here on the back. When Christians of any age, country, or denomination debate the nature of the good life, the soul, free will, or design, Aristotle lies behind their logic as well as their rhetoric. Although Aristotle did not have access to the Bible's special revelation, he made full use of general revelation to arrive at deep truths about the nature of God, human identity, and the universe. In the Catholic Middle Ages, the spiritual vision that undergirded Dante's Divine Comedy was strongly indebted to Aristotle's cosmology. And in the Protestant Reformation and Enlightenment, the social vision of a well-run state was equally indebted to his political science. And here we go. This is a follow-up book. In a follow-up to his well-loved book, From Plato to Christ, renowned scholar Louis Marcos takes us on a vigorous and celebratory journey through the work of Plato's greatest student, winsomely demonstrating Aristotle's often unacknowledged influence on the Christian faith. In Marcos's hands, Aristotle is far from an impenetrable and irrelevant. I knew these words were going to trip me up. Aristotle is far from an impenetrable and irrelevant ancient philosopher, but is instead a key interlocutor for some of the greatest Christian thinkers of history and a wise guide for the most vexing questions of our day. So if you're a fan of Louis Marcos's and you didn't know he's got a new book out, the follow-up, From Plato to Christ, now you know. Now you know, and it is out now. Came out last year. Part 1 is how to think logically. Part 2, how to read the heavens and the earth. Part 3, how to behave. Part 4, how to get along with our neighbors. And Part 5, how to make beautiful things. So, this is going to be good. So this is, again, From Aristotle to Christ by Louis Marcos from IVP Press. Okay, we're winding down here. Sometimes I love comparative religion. At times, I like to read how, particularly in my case, how the Christian faith aligns or doesn't, is different from other religions. And just learning about other religions is just fascinating to me. And so I saw this was a new release last year, and it is Global Christianity and Islam, Exploring History, Politics, and Beliefs. Can you guys see that okay? Sorry. It's just the day is winding into night here, and the sun is gone. It's already set, so it's dusk. It's going to be getting dark in here. All right, and this is by Wafiq W. Waba. This is a pretty good, decent size. Together, the adherents of Christianity and Islam make up over half of the world's population. The influence of these two faiths and their relations with each other is seen in politics, economics, and social interactions. Understanding global realities today requires understanding the histories and dynamics of the world's largest religions. This book provides a comprehensive overview of Christianity and Islam, covering 3 interrelated areas: historical developments and encounters, the influence of religion on politics, and religious beliefs and worldviews. Wafiq Waba highlights key points of similarity and difference and particular factors that contributed to divergence between the Western world and the Muslim world. Exploring the various narratives that have shaped both Christianity and Islam, he argues, is crucial to understanding current trends in Christian-Muslim interactions and their impact on future relations between the two communities globally. All right, so, I said yes to this one because, about 20 years ago? I'd say it was primarily after 9/11. I made it my personal, and I'm sure many people did. I think many of us woke up on September 12th going, what is Wahhabism? What does Islam say? What is it? Why did these guys do this stuff, right? And so I made it my mission to learn about Islam. And So I have a pretty in-depth, I don't want to say, yeah, I do. I have a fairly large collection of books looking at Islam from both practitioners to outside scholars, Christian scholars, eh, ex-Muslims who, I think Ibn Warraq, um, but I've gotten some other things too. So I made it my business to learn about it. So I think a lot of the things that are said in here I already know, but I'm looking for just maybe the tone or how Wafiq Wahba sets up the historical comparison between the two. I'm always interested to see how another writer handles the topic. So this is something I definitely will put on my shelf with my other titles in this area, and going to dip in and see what Wahba has to say. All right, and then I got 2 more books left, guys. 26 minutes, we're doing well. This is The Glory of the Ascension, Celebrating a Doctrine for the Life of the Church by W. Ross Hastings. Again, nothing too overwhelming as far as length. It's about 250 pages. All right. So it quotes, let me just do this. So what this book is doing is it's extrapolating on one of the most well-known, not most one of the well-known, but one of the most well-known for Christians verses of the Bible after Jesus came back from the tomb and before his ascension back into heaven. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. This line from the Apostles' Creed describes a reality that is essential to the life of the church, but one that contemporary Christians, especially in Protestant denominations, are tempted to skip over. I'm not tempted to skip over it. Theologian Ross Hastings helps the church to remember the often neglected doctrine of the ascension. I didn't know that it was often ignored, so this will be interesting to read because I've never ignored it. It's very important. He carefully differentiates the ascension from the atonement, presenting the former as the acceptance and celebration of the finished atonement, followed by the intercessory work of Christ, our great high priest, who hears our confession, facilitates our worship, and comforts us all in our suffering. As a constructive treatment of the doctrine, the glory of the ascension is a lively and impassioned celebration of the beauty of God's glory in the ascended Christ, an invitation into wonder and participation in his triune life. So this is I didn't even realize that this was something people kind of overlooked. When it comes to just Christian theology, Christian writing, people can there are so many different things to write on and research and look at, especially with scripture, doctrines and stuff like this, and people can just come at it from 5 different directions and all have something different to say. So you're never going to have an end to these type of books. They'll just keep coming. So The Glory of the Ascension by W. Ross Hastings came out last year from IVP Press. And then finally, I was curious about this book, even though maybe it's just because I felt like, what is going on in this world today? And sometimes your faith can be tried, right? That's part of being a Christian. So this final book from IVP I picked up is or they sent me, thank you, IVP, Mid-Faith Crisis, Finding a Path Through Doubt, Disillusionment, and Dead Ends by Catherine McNeil and Jason Haig. Many of us began our spiritual journey full of earnest faith and hope, but life is complicated, and the faith we had at the beginning doesn't always hold up to the challenge. Trust was broken, faith was shaken, and God seems to have vanished, if he was ever there at all. We are not alone in these experiences. Catherine McNeil and Jason Haig chronicle the realities of the crisis of faith, exploring how faith goes through stages of development and reconsideration. Questions and disappointment are part of the journey, and the testing of belief helps us discard what is unhelpful and reclaim what is real. McNeil and Haig explore key practices that have helped them forge a way forward. The mid-faith crisis is not the end of the story. Keep going and see what comes on the other side. All right. Yeah, it kind of covers different things that you deal with in life, like grief and, loss and disappointment. Like also like the hurts that you've sustained while being in the church. That's something too. All right, so I'm intrigued. I'm gonna check it out. Mid-faith crisis. All right, so those are some of the recent books that I've gotten from IVP Press. Now, like I said, I have a whole other stack down here I want to show. Plus, because I've really been I've been listening and watching different YouTube videos and podcasts, and I've really been drawn back into the world of just theology, questions of Christian ethics, and what it means to be a Christian or a Jesus follower, as I like to say, because our faith has just been completely smeared by faux, I like to call them faux Christians, who have seemed to be worshiping at a different altar. I'm not going to go there right now, but you know what I'm saying if you've watched my videos fairly regularly. So anyway, so along with that stack down there that I'm going to make a video, hopefully in the next week, I also have another video on theology books, but these are going to be all about sets. I picked up a bunch of sets of Christian theology, and boy, oh boy, do I need to make some shelf space for those. So that's going to be a separate video, just all the sets that I've picked up. Okay, now, guess what we're going to talk about now? A channel, a book. He doesn't align himself with BookTube, but I'm putting him on blast, and I hope you don't mind. Hope you don't mind, Timothy. But I discovered this guy a couple of years ago, and then I found his channel was just dormant for a while. Well, he just came barnstorming back at the end of last year with like world record setting bookshelf tours that last hours and hours. And it's the most wonderful stuff, like high res images. And he has his he does it from afar so that, let me just put up a picture. All right. What channel am I talking about? In case you didn't know. And this is going to overlay on my face. Here we go. Check out Timothy Kenny's channel. And this is just a snippet of some of the books, but recently if I'm doing it in this video, because if you enjoy looking at other people's theology or Christian libraries, wow. If you see this one in the middle, this pastor's library broke a world record, start there. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That video is 9 hours and 41 minutes. If you just want to get in bed at night and pop that on and just do a bookshelf tour, he has photos of this pastor's library. And the pastor is Jason Johnston. And wow, this guy has an amazing collection. Just an amazing collection. Let me put myself down here. No, you can't see me. Okay, let's go back to here then. And it continues. He's got 3 parts up. So it's the first one is in the middle, and then tour the library of a pastor with 2,200 plus books. And he goes from his home, like with the photos, and then they go to the pastor's office to show all the books. As you can see, I've just begun the part 3, tour the 200 plus Bible commentaries and something else, but that's another 10-hour video. And he's got more. If you back this one up, he has a tour of this one gentleman's massive library where he has all of the Loeb classics. But yeah, that's Timothy Kenny. You can see he doesn't have a lot of videos, 33 videos. But the exciting news there is, so check him out, subscribe. I commented on one of his videos to say how much I enjoyed them. And I guess he clicked on my link, and he saw that I have a channel, and he says, I would like to do a bookshelf tour with you. So I took some photos of my bookshelves downstairs, some in my parlor, but I told him, I said, nothing is really organized. I moved into this, we've been in this house for what, 4 years now. You'd think I would have it organized, but I've been so busy just growing the channel, growing my book reviewing. I just haven't had a chance to organize my massive library. Also, I am not a specialist like Jason Johnston, but he's like, I do bookshelf tours of all kinds. So this is my way of saying, check out his channel, enjoy his videos. But he's always looking for other people to do these bookshelf tours with. So we'll see if it comes to fruition with me. I'm sure a lot of you would love an in-depth look at all of my hidden shelves that you don't even see yet. So that's kind of exciting. I'm going to send him a bunch of my high-res images, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. It could take I don't know how long these things take to put together, but yeah, Timothy Kenny in the house. Like I said, you could probably just comment on one of his videos if you would like to be, if you feel like your library is extensive or not. He says, I do all sizes. And I don't even care. He's making this his business, it seems like, and it's been fantastic. And he's very, very, very smart, very widely read. And he just engages with his guests, and they just have these conversations that, I mean, they're wonderful. Oh, it's just food for the brain. So anyway, I just wanted to pop that up there. Timothy Kenny. And if any of you already know who he is, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know where you found him and heard about him. But he does some great work. He it's amazing how much stuff he does. And he makes like charts. He gives you a listing. You get like, a listing of all the, like, he gives you a layout of the pictures in this man's library, and he maps it. I'm almost been like, could you come here and organize my library? Because that would be fantastic. I know Martine's like, we need to do the Dewey Decimal System. I'm like, it's so difficult when you've got different rooms. And, but anyway, I did want to recommend the channel, because if you love theology, he's got this 3-parter that'll just, like, 30 hours of viewing, and your TBR is just gonna explode. In fact, I just ordered a few books that I saw on that bookshelf tour. So, and those are coming, and when they do, I will show you them on the channel. But yeah, your TBR is gonna just explode. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for that. I'm not sure when or if that'll happen. I need to send in my photos, but wow, what a privilege that would be to get on Timothy Kenny's bookshelf tour channel. Wow. I'm kind of nervous. Anyway, guys, so that does it for this video. Again, let me know what you thought of the books below, if anything appealed to you. I've got more Christian books coming. I've got at least 2 more videos that I can make, and I'm really looking forward to showing you the sets that I picked up from different publishers. Reformation Heritage Books is one of them. I think Concordia is another, but there's just so many. And of course, it's just like I need more hours in the day to get all these things read, or at least, dip into some of them. But yeah, so I'm excited. All right, well, I'm running out of things to say now, guys. So let me go ahead and go. See, I act a little strange because I'm like, wow, it's not 50 minutes. I feel like I got to fill time. No, I don't. I need to let you guys go so you can go about your business. Anyway, I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for visiting me here at the History Shelf. If you can, drop a like or subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, be well, be safe, and be kind. And we'll see you soon.